So, if you're conscious enough to be aware of your thinking and you can witness some of the thoughts that come up being not useful, you create a problem for yourself. Because if you have the idea that a non useful thought that arises needs to be just pushed away, then what you may be inadvertently doing sometimes is repressing a pattern that would be actually served by you inquiring into it and that being a doorway into a deeper conversation with yourself, potentially for some healing or at least some forgiveness or liberation. The other problem you create for yourself is if you have the idea that when a thought arises that's non useful, you must inquire into it and figure out what that's about and do some work on it and create some freedom and liberation or healing or trauma. You also put yourself into a trap of having every single thought that comes up be something you got to pay attention to and work on, and you can't just push it away. So, are we in a bind here? Are we better off? Is ignorance bliss? Are we better off not even being conscious of our thinking? No, I don't think so. The metaphor I want to talk to you about is the difference between a candle flame and a campfire. So I was this past weekend camping with my boys. They're 5 and 10. They're learning how to light fires. And one of them was learning to light a fire and this stuff wasn't catching. And so we started to blow on the embers and then it came back into flame again. So blowing on the campfire made it bigger. All right. And then also, what do we got over here? We got a candle. What happens? If I blow, it goes out, right? And so the same action of blowing on a fire can either make it go out or make it bigger. And I have that same relationship to thoughts that arise inside my mind that are not useful. Sometimes when I blow on a thought, meaning I just say, shut up or shh, or ignore it or drop the thought, it just goes away. And then I can get back into action. I can keep forward momentum with the vision or the more positive minded possibility, and everything's cool. And that's not a problem. Other times I might blow on a thought and that shit gets bigger. I might say, oh, just drop that thought. And then there's an argument. What do I mean by it gets bigger? It's like blowing on a campfire. I just say no or forget it. But then there's a year but. Or yeah, and then another thought comes that's of that same nature and in that same resistant direction, but adds to the energy of that resistance. And so if I'm trying to drop a thought, that's a judgment, that's a limiting thought, and then it gets noisier or gets bigger, that's a campfire. If I blow on the thought with a little bit of a let it go, forget about it, shh, stop it, shut up, whatever inside, and then just try to move forward. And then it doesn't come back. And that was a candle flame. And so how do I know which one it is? I just try blowing on it and see what happens. First of all, I always meet every arising thought that's not useful with the intention or activity, just let it go, to just drop the thought. And then what happens in response to that gives me insight. Now, if something does come back right away, I may or may not say, oh, now I've got to deal with this now. Probably not most of the time, unless it's causing some kind of emotional behavior or reactivity, and I'm engaging in a way that's not an expression of my ideal. Or maybe it's getting me in such a place of fear that I'm procrastinating and not taking action. Okay, then I'm going to sit down and inquire and figure out what's actually going on here. I'm going to let that thought be a doorway into knowing thyself more deeply. Then I'm going to create some liberation and freedom there. If that doesn't happen, if I just say shh and it gets a little noisier, but I can still keep moving forward, then I'm going to keep moving forward. Okay. But there's a third case, and that is where I blow the candle out like I did over there. There's still one going, but imagine it's like a trick candle on a birthday cake, and I blow it out and it pops back, but not right away, but like a little bit later. It's, oh, I have a thought like that again. And I blow it out and then I can keep moving and keep doing my thing and I'm being productive and I'm focused on my ideal. And then that thought pops up again. And every time I blow on it, it does go away, but it comes back. In those instances, I'm going to take note. I write it down on my phone. Hey, this thing keeps coming up. There's a pattern here. It's not enough to stop me right now. And so I'm not going to stop myself and go into self-inquiry and try to figure out what's wrong with me, because then that whole idea of self-work and self-creation is no longer an asset to my growth and my productivity in the world. It becomes an obstacle to it. And I see this way too often. I have seen it in myself, where you become so fascinated with how you are making sense of reality and how your thoughts are being created that you can't even get down the street because you're so busy about how you're thinking about taking the next step. So we don't want to be doing that. We want to be effective and living in the world. But I will take note of that trick candle that keeps coming back, that idea, that thought that keeps arising. I'll put it in my phone. And when I have my time and space, either on the meditation cushion over here in the morning or with my journal over there in the morning at my desk, in those moments, that's when I open my phone up and I go to the note. It's, oh yeah, that was that trick candle. That thought keep coming up. What's that about? Because now's the time to look at it, but not in the day. Most of the time during the day, I want to be in action serving people, not inside my own head and inside my own self-inquiry. Here you go. Candle flame or campfire.